there's been a lot of really, really good questions that have come forward from this committee that we should be considering. Representative Moskowitz, I think, did a good job of addressing some of the various mistruths that were brought forward by some of the speakers, so I appreciate him taking some of that off of my plate. But let me try to respond to some of it. Much of what you heard today comes from many of the experts that are in the field, including the folks who stood up and spoke against this legislation. So I understand that it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable that we've taken pages out of their handbook that demonstrate just how harmful these steroids actually are. But information that comes from very important and serious organizations like Gray 2K and the Humane Society is not fake information. It is not fake news. Obviously, it's clear that that has become a new political strategy, that everything you disagree with needs to be declared fake. It is not fake. What it is it is empirical evidence that shows that injecting these dogs with steroids is harmful. And I'm going to try not to be cynical about this process, but this bill is so narrowly tailored to only address the injection of steroids into greyhound racing dogs that I have no choice but to be cynical when the special interests come up here and they say, well, you know, perhaps we should go ahead and we should add other safety measures to make this more comprehensive. In a rational environment, I might agree. But the conversation around greyhound racing has not been rational for a very, very long time. Because the reality is, if we add some of these other issues to the bill, which are great ideas, for example, putting in regulations on the track owners that would prevent the greyhounds from being injured by open electrical circuits and other types of machinery that they're exposed to when they're racing, I agree that that would be great. However, that would be a poison pill in this process, because guess who would testify before this committee to say that they oppose that? The track owners who don't want to be overly regulated. This is getting a bit out of control, which is why I think it's a very good idea to move forward with this very narrow issue. And if, to Representative Moskowitz's point, if some of this testimony hasn't made you cynical enough about the resistance of the industry to any change whatsoever, the fact that we can't even ban the use of cocaine in racing dogs tells you everything that you need to know about how resistant to change the industry and the special interests are around this bill. I believe in this bill. I know most of the members of the committee, if not all of them, believe in this bill too. So I will remind you that the idea of banning testosterone injections in greyhound dogs isn't a radical idea, because the leaders in the industry, as far as where most of this racing is taking place in other parts of the world, have already banned it. So it's not a radical idea. I want to close with this, and it is a, you know, after I filed this bill, as other sponsors may have as well, perhaps Senator Young, perhaps Representative Miller, I got lots of emails and letters from greyhound owners thanking us for bringing this bill forward. And in their emails, which were not form emails, they were authentic, written by them to tell their own stories, I found many different stories of greyhound owners who adopted dogs that had been injected with testosterone that I think are important for this committee to hear, but I'm going to read you one. And it comes from Sherry Mangold. Now, Sherry does not live in Florida, but the reality is that the folks have admitted that this is happening everywhere. So we can at least agree on the fact that the dogs are being pumped with steroids regardless of where they live. My adopted greyhound, Milagro, was born in April 20th, 2003. Her racing name was DB Silent Mist. Milagro was a slight black silver female owned and trained by the Duran brothers out of Pueblo, Colorado. She raced on the Pueblo track. I adopted her at the age of 4 years through Greyhound Companions of New Mexico. Milagro was spayed at a local clinic, where they expressed concern because Milagro's ovaries were the size of raisins. The female greyhounds coming from Don Duran consistently exhibited abnormally small ovaries, and the Duran brothers were known to use steroids and testosterone injections. Within 1 year, Milagro exhibited signs of distress while urinating. I took her to my veterinarian, and he treated her with antibiotics, both topical and oral, as her vulva was red and swollen. At first, the antibiotics appeared to relieve her pain, but soon she was again exhibiting pain when urinating. The vet conducted exploratory surgery to determine the cause of this continual problem. He found that many of Milagro's organs, female organs, were malformed, and her vulva was highly enlarged. He diagnosed her problems, conducted surgery to try to correct the formation of the urethra and the positioning of these parts. And although the surgery lessened Milagro's pain, for a while it never totally subsided. She continued to whine and cry out when urinating, and to relieve her of the persistent pain, she was euthanized in 2011. That same veterinarian was able to say that the injection of testosterone over many years was the root cause of these issues. Members, Florida should and must be leaders in the humane treatment of these greyhound animals. Remember, we run 12 out of the 19 tracks left in the United States. Let's pass this bill. Let's do it to protect the integrity of this industry. Let's do it to clarify the law. Let's do it to ensure the humane treatment of these beautiful greyhound animals, and I ask for your favorable support.
Having closed on the bill, Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Chair LaRosa,
Yes.
Representatives Cruz, Eagle, Geller,
Yes.
Goodson, Grant, Gruters, Jaquette, Killebrew, Mercado, Miller A, Miller M, Moskowitz, Plaken, Rothschein. Chairman, the bill passes.
By your vote, PCS for HB 743 passes and will be reported favorably by the subcommittee. Representative Smith, great job on
Thank
this
you,
bill.
members.
This is a bit of a detailed issue. Thank you very much.